Hello everyone, welcome to today's class. My name is Lily and today we're going to be focusing around the theme of Satya. So Satya meaning truthfulness. And how we're going to link this into our practice today is just by taking things at our own pace. So this is an intermediate class, I would say. You can do it if you're slightly new to yoga, but it's not suitable for beginners. So as we move through the practice today, go at your own pace, modify where you need to modify because that's the whole point. It is advanced, so strip it back to how you feel today. You may try it another day and it will feel completely different within the body. So listen to yourself and how you feel, be truthful, and get ready to flow. The only thing you'll need today is of course a mat and a block. If you don't have a block, you can use a book or, to be honest, it doesn't really matter too much. But whatever you have could be useful. We'll only be using this for a few poses, so don't worry if you don't have it. We're going to start exactly as I'm sat now, so I'll see you in just a moment. So coming to sit with the legs tucked underneath you. If this isn't comfortable, you can sit cross-legged. And the option as well to take your block and just place it underneath between the feet for a little bit of extra cushioning. We're going to start today with 3 simple breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth, and just resting the hands down onto our laps. So closing off the eyes, just take a moment to arrive into your space. And as we tune into the breath, just start to notice how the body is feeling today, where the mind is going, paying attention to anything or any discomfort that comes up. So when you're ready, closing the eyes, inhale in, exhale out through the mouth. And again, inhale in through the nose, exhale out through the mouth. Once more, inhale. And a big sigh, exhale the breath out. Lovely. So staying where you are, we're going to move into another pranayama which we call Bumblebee Breath. So if you haven't heard of this, what we're going to do is we're going to inhale in through the nose, and as we exhale we're going to make a humming noise. So we'll do this 3 times continuously, and we're going to take our fingers and just gently press them in. So we're pressing on the slight cartilage of the ear, drawing it inwards very gently. And as we exhale and make that hum noise, almost imagining there's a little bee just circling the head. Let's say we're going to do this 3 times and I'll do it along with you. So keeping eyes closed, fingers just gently press into the ear. We inhale in through the nose. Exhale out, make that humming noise. Again, inhale. Last time. Lovely, just drawing the hands down away from the ears, bringing them back onto the legs, and just starting by dropping the chin down towards the chest. And that bumblebee breath is a great one just for extending our exhale, tapping into that little bit of a calmer breath, that calmer state of being. So when you're ready, just isolating the head, we're going to look, opening the eyes towards the hand this time. So the head is slightly tilting towards the left. And then we bring the left ear towards the left shoulder. Gently release the head all the way back. And then right ear to right shoulder, keeping the shoulder down. Turn the gaze to the right hand, just opening up through the neck here. And then back to center. Repeating, going the other way, so looking towards the right hand, right ear to right shoulder, all the way back and round, left ear to left shoulder, looking down to the hand, and then back to center. Coming all the way up, just gently release back, shoulders away from the ears. And then come back to center and just start to shrug the shoulders back 3 times, and then coming forwards as well, keeping the hands onto the knees. From here, this is when we're going to take our block, so if you were sitting on it, just gently move it now. Take a book if you have one. If you don't have one, you can still do this movement. So we're going to take the block long ways, and we're just going to start to move through the shoulders. So what I'd like you to do just to begin with is keep the elbows in, and then as we start to move, we're going to make the movement bigger into the body. So it won't be here for long. But we're going to draw ourselves around to the left first. So picking up your block, say, keeping those elbows almost in line, just gently start to rotate that round. Keeping the movement really isolated, so you're not moving hugely into the shoulders yet or into the body. And then taking the time to open up a little bit more, so maybe those elbows start to separate. And you're creating a circular movement, and as you go a little bit more, start to bring the chest into the flow. The whole of the torso really warming up through the top half of the body. And then we're going to come back to center, starting again from the beginning. So going the other way, keeping the movement nice and small to begin with. So almost just bringing it around our head to start. And then the elbows start to separate. We make the movement bigger. And then we bring the body into this as well. Excellent. From here, maybe take a few shoulder shrugs if you need to, and just place the block away for now. We're just going to gently warm up through the wrists. So bringing the hands together in a clasp, just start to rock the wrists one way, and then change the direction if you can. There's a little bit of brain training, just to move the wrists and the hands in the opposite direction. Lovely. From here, give them a shake. Draw them in, big squeeze, and then spread the fingers out wide. And again, squeeze the fingers in, draw them out. You can move with the breath. Just any little wrist movements that you know are going to help you here. This is quite wrist heavy practice as well as shoulders. So you want to make sure you're nice and warm. Lovely. So from here, we're going to stretch our legs out in front of us. Still warming up through the body. And just bring the hands back behind you, so the fingertips are facing towards the back of the mat. Feet are flexed, and we're just opening through the chest here. So slight recline. You can even let the head go a little bit, try not to fully let go, so there's still control here in the movement. Walking the hands in, we're going to bring the left leg in towards us, place it over the top of the other leg, and then we're going to draw opposite arm to the leg that's lifted around, so opening into a twist. So we're drawing belly button around towards the thigh, then our other arm comes back behind us, keeping us lifted and elevated here. See if you can keep the spine nice and long, and maybe the gaze follows round towards the shoulder. Taking your time to come back to center, extend the leg out in front of you. Hands come back behind us again, just to open through the chest. Slight release in the head, you can rock backwards and forwards. And then walking the hands in, moving to the other side. So right leg comes in, foot comes over the top. We wrap the left arm around the right leg, and the other arm comes back behind us to stabilize us and support. Again, you can turn the gaze back behind, or you can just keep the head to the side, whichever feels more comfortable for you. Gently coming back out into Dandasana again, so just gently rocking backwards and forwards, and then we're going to come over into tabletop position. So stacking shoulders over the wrists, and all I want you to do here is just have a little wiggle around, so feeling into the body, maybe come back to child's pose, working around into the wrists, whatever feels good for you today. So it's mainly a shoulder based practice today. We still need to work with the hips as well, because we're going to do some leg extensions. So just finding anything that feels good. If you're not sure what to do here, maybe cat and cow is an option, but really we're just wiggling through the body. Lovely. So from here we're going to come into our downward facing dog, and the same rules apply. Just take the time to warm up into the body. So the only thing I'd say not to do here is to stay still. So this is an opportunity to move into the hips. So maybe extending one leg up, bending the knee, taking some circles, using your hands to support you, working into the wrists. Make sure you're working both sides. Lovely. And then taking your time, just tiptoeing the feet up towards the hands, a little forward fold here. Feel the hip creases just drawing back and sinking the feet into the floor. And then pressing down into the toes, the heels. We're going to allow ourselves to slowly rise up through the body. The shoulders and head coming up last. And when you arrive, just some gentle shoulder rolls backwards. Great stuff. We're going to move through a few sun salutations just to get the body moving. So coming to stand at the top of your mat, nice and quick. We're going to go inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale down to your forward fold. Inhale, rise halfway. Exhale to release, bend the knees, step the left leg to the back of the mat. From here, we're going to keep that back leg lifted. Inhale, rise up. Listen to your body though. If you need to draw the knee down, then do. Shoulders are soft. Exhale, hands come down. Step it back into your high plank. Hold here. Press into the hands, round through the shoulders. Exhale, come down through Chaturanga or to the knees, your choice. Rising to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, coming back over the toes, downward facing dog. Few breaths here. And then lifting the gaze again, tiptoe the feet up towards the hands. Bend into the knees as you're in your forward fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, release. Big sweep of the arms this time. Inhale as you rise up. Exhale, hands come to the heart. Once more like this. Inhale to lift. Exhale, find your forward fold. Knees can be bent. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release. Right leg goes back this time. If you can, keep the knee lifted. Inhale, arms sweep up. Keeping the hips nice and square. And then exhale, hands come down. Find your plank. Hold here. Draw the weight forward to the wrist. Lower down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to come back, downward facing dog. Few breaths here. Lovely, keeping that momentum going. We're going to bring the body forward over the wrist once again into our plank position. So option, if you're not feeling it today, you can bring the knees down at any point. Otherwise, staying lifted. The core is engaged here. Slight rounding through the shoulders. So you want your hands to be underneath the shoulders. Try not to lift the bum. Keep it nice and in line with the crown of the head. Lovely. Then the left hand's going to come to center. We're going to roll over onto the left side of the foot. If you like, you can bring the knee down, lifting up here. Otherwise, full side plank here. Keeping the hips lifted. Option to lift the top leg off slightly. And then slowly lower, come back through center. Hold here. We will take a break. Using your breath, it's there to support you. And then other side, right hand to center, rolling onto the side of the foot. Extend the arm up and away, maybe lift the gaze. Leg can lift. Bring it down, back through center. And then drop the knees down and come find your child's pose. So let the head rest to the floor. Maybe you take a gentle rock side to side. But coming back to finding your breath here. So if you can, slowing down the breath. If you're finding that hard to do, you can come back to that bumblebee, just not with the hands. So you can be here, inhale in through the nose, and exhale, just hum the breath out. And that's going to naturally start to slow down our exhale and our breath rhythm. So from our child's pose, we're just going to come up through tabletop, and we're going to tuck the toes. So we want the hips to be over the knees this time. And we're going to stretch the right arm forward in front of us. Our left hand is going to sweep underneath the arm, and we're going to let the ear rest down towards the floor. So we're coming in to thread the needle. You can close the eyes here, and you should feel a nice stretch in the shoulder. The left palm is facing towards the sky. And the breath continues. When you're ready, bring the left hand back. Gently draw the right arm back in, and we'll swap over to the other side. So the left arm stretches out, the right arm comes underneath. Lovely. Bring the right hand back and come back to tabletop. So from here, we're going to come back to our downward facing dog. So spread the fingers wide, gently pedal through the legs as needed. And we're going to come into a little bit of a twist here. So I'll give you some options as we go. So we won't necessarily come into the full extension the first 2 times, but the second 2 we will. So coming into downward facing dog as you were, we're going to lift the left hand off of the mat. So if this is enough for you just to have that little bit of lift and working on keeping balanced in the rest of the body, then that's fine. Otherwise, we're going to reach the left hand over towards the right leg. So if you can't quite reach, as I say, you can hold here, but it's quite tough on that supporting shoulder, or you can reach back. If you can't hold, just using that arm to reach. So just noticing how that feels in the body. Any little bits of tension cropping up. Any way you can send the breath. And then coming back to center, swapping over to the other side. Right hand's going to lift, reaching back to the left leg this time. And keeping the gaze sort of between the feet. That's the kind of the point for this first two. And then coming back to center. We're going to repeat that, but this time the left hand's going to lift, reaching back towards the opposite leg. And we're going to start to draw the head underneath, in between the arms and the leg. So we're drawing ourselves around a little bit. We're pressing down into that supporting arm, into the feet. There are bases here. And then come back. Swap over to the other side. Drawing the head, the body underneath this time. Bring that hand down and slowly release the knees. Lovely. Back into tabletop. We're going to do an isolated shoulder movement here. So shoulders are going to be over the wrists. And we're just going to work. So it's kind of like cat and cow, but just for our shoulders. So we're not moving through the whole body. So just beginning by bending the elbows slightly. So as you bend the elbows, you feel the shoulder blades squeezing together. On an exhale, you press into the hands, you lift up. Feel that slight rounding through the shoulders this time, so the shoulder blades are separating. Inhale, drop down so you feel that neutral position. And then shoulder blades are squeezing. Exhale through center and then round. Chin is drawn in. Once more like this. Bend the elbows. So it's kind of like our chaturanga. Elbows are staying inwards. They're not splaying out to the sides. Find that center rounding through the shoulders. The belly's obviously going to come into it a little bit, but it's not our focus. Lovely. Okay, from here, we're going to come into Dolphin Pose. So again, you can take your brick if you'd like. It might be easier for you. I personally find it harder using the brick, but it just gives you a sort of guide as to where to put your arms. So you can place it down out in front of you. And our arms, so just under the wrists, is going to come to the edge, the top edge of the block. Hands are down, flat. So we're using the same sort of hand placement as in our downward facing dog. And then from here we're going to tuck the toes and lift the hips up. So kind of again like downward facing dog. And if you have your brick, you can use it to place the forehead on. But again, it's optional. Maybe try it without and see how you feel. So we're holding here. So notice the hip crease is drawing backwards. Again, breath is so important. We're pressing into the bases. And if you feel comfortable too, you can start to walk the feet in. Now, any time as well, you can take a break. So we're going to add some little extra things into our dolphin pose. So nice and not easy. You can stay wherever you are, you can take a break. Or you can practice just lifting up onto the left arm, coming up onto the right. Lowering on the right, lowering on the left. This time lifting up on the right, lifting up on the left, and lower down once again. So you can do that a few more times here. It's quite a tricky one. I don't recommend pushing up into two, not without someone to sort of watch you, or so you know that your shoulders are safe. If you do have any shoulder problems, just skip it completely, hold, or come to downward facing dog. So we'll do that one more time. So press into the left, into the right, come up, lower, lower, and then up on the other side, up again, and lower, lower. Lovely. Take a little rest if you need to. Maybe shake out the arms, shake out the wrists. And then coming back into dolphin once again. So spread the fingers wide, press into the arms and lift the hips high. Gaze is back behind you. This time we're going to extend the left leg up into the sky, three-legged dog. Place it back down. The right leg lifts. Place it back down. Lovely. Bring the knees to the floor, sit the hips to the heels, and just draw the arms back behind you so they're rounding over the knees. Coming back to the breath. Excellent. Bring yourself up, so bring the body back up. And we're going to step forward into a lunge. So we're going to step right leg forward. Left knee's going to stay behind. You can tuck the toes for extra support. And we're going to come into a twist. So opposite hand to foot comes to the floor. And we extend up, reaching to the sky with our right arm. From here, press into your bases, let the top arm lead. We're going to inhale, bring ourselves up. So bringing the body up, and the gaze is going to follow that hand. So drawing the tummy around into a twist, big opening across the torso. Lovely. From here again, this arm's going to lead. It's going to come down by the sides of us, up to the sky, repositioning the hips. And then if you have the space to, big opening through the arms, so windmill them back. You can bend the elbows here as well if that's easier. And then finding the ground. Swapping the legs over, left leg comes forward. Right hand to the floor, open into the left side twist. Top arm leads, bringing us up to center. And then again, this back arm comes all the way forward, reaching up to the sky, and then big open through the shoulders, bring the hands back down to the floor. Lovely. From here, just come to lie down on the belly. Hands to the top of the mat, and just let the head rest down, turning the hips down, turning the toes in either, and just gently rocking side to side to release through the hips. And then just coming to a place of stillness. Lovely, bringing the feet back in line. We're going to come into a Lotus Variation here. So we're going to bring our hands back behind us, keeping the chin towards the floor, just taking hold of the hands, elbows are bent. And then on an inhale, we're going to keep the hips down, draw the hands back and start to straighten the arms. So as we do that, we feel the shoulder blades squeezing together. Inhale as you do, and you find that little bit of lift, but the feet are staying down. Try and take 1 or 2 breaths here. And then release. Lovely. Hands come underneath the shoulders. We're going to roll them back. Inhale, lifting up to cobra. Maybe a baby cobra here. Maybe even a seal pose, stretching the hands out. And then we're going to press all the way back into child's pose. Knees are as wide as the mat. Bring the head down. Lovely. And then right hand comes off of the mat and left hand on top. Just let the head drop down between the arms. Hips stay where they are. And then back through center, hold here for a moment. And then over to the side. So left hand comes off, right hand on top. And then back to center. Walking the hands in, we're going to bring the legs around out in front of us, come down onto the back. So from here, when you arrive down on the floor, just take a big stretch, so from the fingertips right down to the toes. And then inhale, and then as you exhale, draw yourself in, draw the knees into the chest, give yourself a big squeeze. Lovely, and release, do that again. Inhale, stretching all the way out. Exhale, big squeeze into center. Lovely, and just let the back come to the floor. We're going to bring the legs over to the left side, and the right arm is going to come out to the side. Shoulders drop to the floor, and the gaze is towards that extended arm. Come up through center, swapping over to the other side. Extend the left arm. Gaze follows. If you don't have room like me, you can bend the elbow, come into cactus. And then back to center, just taking a quick happy baby pose here, taking hold of the insides of the outsides of the feet, and let the lower spine just flatten to the floor. Breathing into the hips, chin is drawing down. Maybe you find a rock side to side. And then lowering the legs down, finding your Shavasana position. So arms out to the side, creating space in the armpits. Palms to the sky. Coming back to that soft, gentle inhale. And long, extended exhale. Without judging, just taking a moment to reflect on your practice. Noticing if there were any areas where you could have been a little bit more truthful with yourself and your body today. Maybe that's by not taking a modification. Or it could be the other way around, maybe not trying something that you haven't tried before, but knowing that you had that ability within the body today. And it's not to criticize or put ourselves down, it's just to be honest. Being truthful without being hurtful or hateful. Using that truth as a way to grow and build into our practice. And that comes from taking rest as well when we need it. sometimes the most truthful we can be is just realizing that we need to slow down. So just taking your time to wiggle through the fingers, toes, drawing the knees up, so feet to the floor, maybe gently just twisting the hips side to side. Head side to side. And then bringing yourself all the way over and up to a seated position. You can keep the eyes closed just to stay within your practice that little bit longer. Finishing off with a nice big breath, so inhale in through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth, let something go. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. You can come back to this practice whenever you like and see how it changes day to day. If you enjoyed this video, there are more that you can view. You can let me know in the comments if there's anything in particular you'd like to see. And if you're able to, any help would be appreciated. At the moment, I'm not being paid to teach yoga. So down below in the link is an option where you can buy me a coffee. So you can buy 1 coffee up to 3, and it starts as small as £3 to up to £9. It's completely optional, you don't have to, but any help would be appreciated. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.